Won't you please come join me for some midnight therapy? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Midnight Therapy. I am your host, the one and only Cat Matthews. It's a beautiful Saturday in fall. It's October. I will be going to the pumpkin patch today, Roba's family farm. I went to that pumpkin patch when I was a little child, and it was like a farm that there was a corn maze and a couple wooden cutouts where you would stick your head in and you would pretend to be a pig or like a horse or something. That was it. And there was these wooden play areas like a pirate ship, and that was all they had. Now it's like a theme park. It's like Disney. They have alcoholic cider, amusement parks, dinosaurs, bands playing. It's crazy. It's very expensive, and there's 8 million people and their children there, like Disney World. So that's where I'm going to go tonight. Not fun when it's crowded, but good for them. They're doing well. They're probably going to have a roller coaster soon. Just wanted to let you all know that. Roba's free shout out. Great place. Great fall Halloween activities going on at Roba's and Lakeland Orchard. This is not a paid advertisement. I just like it there. I like drinking an alcoholic cider on a farm. Is that wrong? It's not. Quick episode today before I go to the pumpkin patch. It's going to be filled with conspiracy theories and hot takes and aliens. And that's different for this show. We don't usually do that. But to your surprise, that's what we're going to talk about today. A little recap of the current events. A little bit of my opinions on things. I know that's not usual either. I don't usually tell you my opinions on things, but I'm going to today. First and foremost, you probably heard of Tilly Norwood. And if you haven't, you will. She's the first big AI actress. Jumping right into things here. AI actors. I predicted this episodes ago, months ago, maybe even a year ago. Go back and look. I said people will be fans of and look up to fake people that aren't even real. They will go see movies, watch TV series. They'll watch like Netflix series with actors that aren't real. And they will be more popular than living, breathing humans. You could film more content. You don't even have to film. You could create more content with these AI actors. You don't have to pay them health insurance. They never mess up. They could do any role without any preparation. They know all their lines. They don't need costumes. You could put them in another outfit with some coding. You just say, I want them in a pink dress. They're in a pink dress. No money for wardrobe and makeup. No money for clothing. That's wardrobe. But you don't have to buy any outfits. You don't have to pay extras. No preparation. No film time. You don't have to reserve certain parts of the road in New York. You don't have to get a permit. You don't have to hire a film crew. You don't have to hire an editor. You don't have to hire someone to do the lighting. You don't have to hire anyone to write the show. AI is taking over everything, and now it's taking over entertainment. This Tilly Norwood is the first name, and I knew it was going to be some ridiculous name. I predicted that too. But now everybody wants this fake actress in their projects. How cool. Isn't it cool to be alive in this time where you will watch fake people on TV and enjoy it? The choose your own adventure thing I predicted will be there soon too. Because just like the AI actor or actress doesn't need any of that stuff I mentioned, like wardrobe or learning the lines or makeup, you could also film or create as much as you want. Like you have the resources to do alternative endings or give the viewer a choice because you're not paying people to film all those extra endings. It's just going to be generated through AI. So get ready for that. People are already mad at that. The actors that are left are very pissed, but better get with the times. You are a horseshoer and the Model T is invented. Time to find a new job. All of us, but especially actors. And they used to demand, like, I want 40 million a movie. Yeah. And I want a trailer with lobster roll and M&Ms, but only the blue ones. Like, they used to have all these actors had such prestige back in the day. 20 million a movie. Yeah, no more. Looks like you're going to have to get a real job, which sucks, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Let's jump into some more current events here, but I did predict that, just so you know. For the record, I predicted AI actors. Look it up. Another Cat Matthews prophecy fulfilled. Kamala Harris. Remember her? Remember Kamala Harris? She ran for president and almost won and received 0 votes to be the Democratic nominee. Pretty cool. She wrote a book, as you do. When you are a politician and you're no longer a politician, you write books. And I'm not trying to be that person here, but older liberals that wear Bill Cosby sweaters and shop at Borders Books will buy that book because it was recommended to them on Good Morning America. They will buy it and say, wow, did you know that Kamala Harris had a goldfish when she was 7? And they'll bring that up. But that's what these books are for, like the Hillary Clinton books, the Barack Obama books. Like, nobody, who cares about those books, except a select few older Democrats. Anyway, she wrote a book, and now, because it's the internet, the age of the internet, people pick the book apart and put up, the worthwhile parts, if there are any. And I'm surprised that there was some. I'm surprised she was able to sit down with somebody or AI and even write a book about her experiences almost being the president. It was so quick. I don't really know what could be in that book, but some of the juicy gossip from the book is that she admitted that she didn't go with Pete Buttigieg as her VP choice because he was gay. She goes, that's a little much to have a black woman and a gay man on the ticket. She said that in her book. And then she tried to defend it. She goes, well, no, it's not that he's gay. It's that we didn't think we'd get enough votes because he's gay. Well, she said it. I'm just being honest. There was also an interesting part of the book that Joe Biden, remember him? He was the president a couple years ago. Remember that? Hard to remember, but it's true. He called her right before the big debate with Trump, and he reamed her out on the phone. He was like, don't you ever talk shit about me to donors. Those are my donors. That's why we have money. Don't ever talk shit about me. You wouldn't be anything without me. And then she said that it was off-putting and it messed up her debate performance. Interesting. It's almost like the only reason Joe Biden was the front runner when he won against Trump in 2020, quote, won, is because he had 50 years of political favors and donors, more so than anyone else on the stage. So they went with Joe Biden, who was clearly past his prime and really stood for nothing. But they went with him because he had 50 years of favors. Interesting. And it's almost like he could have dropped out earlier because he knew he wasn't going to run again. And they could have had a Democratic primary where the voters decided who they wanted to be the Democratic nominee, instead of in the final hour, in the middle of the night, giving it to Kamala Harris. And then expecting the entire country to believe that she deserved to be the president. Just my opinion. Very odd. Now, granted, their relationship, those two, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, was fake from the very beginning. They hated each other. Kamala hated Joe Biden on the stage in the Democratic primary for 2020. You know this. She said Biden voted against busing and integration. He wanted segregated buses. He said he didn't want his kids growing up in a racial jungle. His mentor was Robert Byrd, who was a KKK grand wizard. This is all real. We all know this stuff. But then Biden goes, I need a black woman. He said this to be the VP because that's what'll look good. That'll help me win. And he had like 4 options, and he went with Kamala Harris, who dropped out so early in the primary that she didn't even have 1% of the vote. Do you remember this? I remember this. So the whole idea that they were friends is so cringy when they try to do that. They're like, they were best friends. They loved each other. And then we see in the book, he's like, don't get carried away, idiot. I may be, 88 years old. I don't know where I am, but I know a lot about money. Anywho, that party had a lot of problems. Not to say Trump doesn't have all these problems right now. Trump is doing quite bad, in my opinion, but it still wouldn't be as worse as that. I am going to stick with that in case anybody out there is like, oh, he rathers Kamala Harris. No. Trump's doing bad, but when you care about the country, you are critical of it. So just because I preferred Trump over Kamala Harris for many good reasons doesn't mean I'm going to agree with every single thing Trump does just because, but what about the other side? No, I don't care. Both sides could be horrible. Let's admit that. Trump is, like I said, the greatest showman. He's like a con man, though. It's like a grift. And he's proving that to be more and more so every day as we slip deeper and deeper into obscurity. Now, the left would have done the same thing, but they would have been more subtle about it. They would have been more politically correct about it. They would have made it sound better. They would have hid certain things. They would have refrained from doing other things like Trump doesn't. He's like posting memes, AI videos of people in sombreros and handlebar mustaches mocking them. He's posting AI voiceovers of senators. It's crazy. It's really crazy. Like, the guy's like a shit poster, but he's the president. Trump started going downhill. We started seeing the true colors overtly clearly. Like, it was so clear after the Epstein thing. And I think a lot of people still have the bad lingering taste in their mouth, like cough medicine. You go, it tastes horrible. The Epstein thing kind of did that for a lot of people, including me, especially me. If you're anything like me, that's not sitting right with you. And it's funny how he tries to appease people with like, well, this will make them forget. So we want these Epstein files. We keep saying release the Epstein files. They release a piece of paper with black lines on it. Every single word is hidden. And they go, well, here you go. It's on my desk. Never mind. They never existed. Who is Jeffrey? That weirdo? Why are we talking about him still? And they're all crooks. Kash Patel, all of them. They're all crooks. And they're doing what they're told to protect themselves and to protect the people in power. And of course, I said Trump might be using the list as leverage. And even if that's the case, it's a big FU to the American people, the people that elected him to fix the middle class and stop the war. Neither of those happened. The wars are only crazier. More money is being sent than ever, and nothing has changed for you and me. Nothing. Doge exposed all this money. The tariffs are working. Where is it helping us? It's not. It's a show. This is a circus. He's the carnival barker. He's the lead. He's the ringmaster. Don't you get it? He's here to entertain you. And the newest appeasement of the morons he thinks we all are is no Epstein files. Sorry, but what about this? The Amelia Earhart files. I'm going to release the Earhart files. Everybody wanted that. Now, what about Epstein? No, I don't know Epstein, but we have Amelia Earhart. Huh? She crashed a plane in 1937. Aren't you all on the edge of your seats waiting to see? Wondering what happened? We're like, no. Actually, no. What about Epstein? No, sorry, no Epstein. But what about Amelia Earhart? I'll give you Amelia Earhart. Do you see what's going on and how odd this is? Do you see how odd this is? Nobody once asked for the Amelia Earhart files. Who cares? If you've been paying attention, like me, you know that she was eaten by coconut crabs on Nikumaruru Island. Look that up. That's a fact, by the way. Anyways, Earhart's old news. You'll never see those Epstein files because Trump is using them as leverage for himself. Moving on. Speaking of Epstein, what's going on with Erica Kirk? What is going on with Erica Kirk? Little odd. She's taking this all a little too well, in my opinion. Now, if your husband was murdered, that's a lot. Say, like in private, like somebody killed your husband at his house. That's a lot. That's traumatic. Say your husband died unexpectedly of old age. That's traumatic. Your husband being publicly assassinated is a lot, a lot. Like, that's not something you get over that quick and then go on a stage in front of hundreds of thousands of people in a rally style and give the best speech ever, perfectly written, and hug the president as pyrotechnics go off and Lee Greenwood sings. Like, that, it seems off. And now she's on the podcast acting normal and laughing. Not even a month? Like, you couldn't wait a month? Or maybe like 3 months? I don't know. It just seems odd. And now there's all these rumors, you don't know what to believe on the internet, that she has these odd ties to Romania and she worked for some ministry that had something to do with trafficking and somehow connected to, Epstein. I don't know. I don't know what's true anymore. Something about her father is odd too. But it is odd that she's doing this podcast so soon. It's kind of a traumatizing thing that happened, and it takes time to kind of get back. I mean, at least for me, what do I know? And we still know nothing about Tyler Robinson. Who did this? There's so many holes with the Kirk thing. No one knows definitively what happened. Everybody knows something's up. They're like, something's up. But I don't know. I don't quite know what, because there's 800 theories. But everybody knows something's up. But everyone's going to move on from this now. They're going, oh, well, I guess we'll never know. Everybody's like a cash grab, like Tucker, Candace, everybody. They want to like make content out of it. Well, it might have been this guy, and look at how weird they took the camera down. And they're making content off people that like watching true crime, like me. And everybody wants to hear the newest theory. Oh, it was the palm gun. It was the exploding microphone. Candace Owens is going to get to the bottom of it just because she wants to, for the goodness inside of her. She wants to do it for Erica Kirk and for the family, and she cares about Turning Point. Yeah, it's not about making money or anything. It's not about riding the coattails or anything, right? Give me a break. And we're going to move on from that. So we know nothing about Tyler Robinson and Charlie Kirk. We know nothing about Jeffrey Epstein. But thank God the Amelia Earhart files are getting released 100 years later. And now we know that she crashed and got eaten by coconut crabs. Thank God. Super Bowl this year. Another disappointment. And I don't even want to talk about it anymore because I don't want to sound like a boomer on Facebook saying, who is Ice Spice? What's an Ice Spice? But, I mean, to add to the obscurity, Bad Bunny, whatever, is going to be the Super Bowl halftime show. Who cares anymore? Who cares until we're soon enough, we're just going to be watching AI Fantasy League sports. And there will be no real players and no CTE, no concussions and nothing. It'll just be fantasy. And that's what we'll watch. And it could be anyone you want. You could have Dead Elvis as the halftime show if you want. But for now, in the final days of the end of the empire, the last couple of years, you got Bad Bunny, this cross-dresser that sings in Spanish and is very opinionated on ICE raids, is going to be your halftime show, because that's what everybody wanted, right? That's what everybody wanted was Bad Bunny. See how everything seems fake? Do you ever just wake up and go, none of this seems right. None of this seems real. Bad Bunny? And now everybody's saying this guy's name. and everybody's gonna like believe he's relevant somehow. This is all you're gonna get it straight here. I give it right to you. Jay-Z, look him up. Very high up elite evil guy, as you know, in the Illuminati and all that, the devil worship stuff. If you know, you know. He owns Rock Nation, this company that decides the Super Bowl halftime performances. He's owned it for a while now. That's why they all have been really shitty for as long as you can remember, like the last 5 years or so. They've been complete shit. It's because Jay-Z owns it, and him and all the groups, and this is connected to the government too, just so you know. They get funding from certain organizations within the government. Rock Nation, look that up. You don't even have to take my word, look it up. They're programming you, as we say, like I feel like I'm teaching children on here. You know what they say? It's programming. That's what they call it, a TV program, and television. And you watch your programming on channels. They're channeling. They program you or condition you to believe whatever they want you to believe. And they want you to believe that Bad Bunny is a cultural icon and relevant to our time. And he's such a great performer, maybe because he's on Jay-Z's label, that now everyone's going to know his name and like his music and enjoy the halftime show. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show, you idiots. It's Bad Bunny. Yay. Here comes Mad Mole Rat next year. Woo! He sings in Portuguese. They're going to go, wow, this is a great show. So I have no more comments about that. But, I mean, who wanted this? Remember when I said last week the left has to force their narrative, like it doesn't naturally occur? It's not organic. So like organically you would say, well, who's really popular? Like who's sweeping the nation right now? Like, and a lot of people love Luke Combs, a lot of people love Morgan Wallen, they love country. A lot of people that like football like country music. Taylor Swift, super relevant when it comes to football, of course. You can name people like this. You know what I'm saying? Like I could think of a few people that would be pretty big. That would make sense. Or Metallica, right? I think it's in their original area. California, is it? I don't know. Wherever they're from, it's like their hometown. You would think maybe that, but no, they're like, that would be too obvious. They're like, we need to do something that's atypical and odd and forced to annoy people, to divide people. And that's why you get Bad Bunny, because it's so clearly forced that it's almost like a rage bait, you know? It's part of their narrative. That's their narrative, you know? It makes perfect sense when you see this guy singing Spanish in a dress. Of course, that's not what naturally would have occurred, you know? Even that, I'm not even, like, don't think I'm against whatever his brand is. For example, Chappell Roan, more relevant. Like, everybody knows her in that song, you know? That would have made more sense. That would have made more sense. Billie Eilish or any of these people that I don't necessarily like, I still would understand it a little. It's just so disingenuous, it hurts. Like it's so fake, it hurts. Speaking of fake, TikTok, the sale, it's going through apparently. They valued it at $14 billion. TikTok, worth $14 billion. A little interesting. Of course, all the rich billionaires in this country are trying to buy it, including Larry Ellison. He's behind Oracle. He's a Jewish guy. He made some comments about once he gets it, he pledges to get rid of all the anti-Semitism on the app. And what is anti-Semitism? Any criticism of Israel is what they will be getting rid of on the app. And then you have Bibi Netanyahu himself saying the real war is not fought with like the cavalry or swords or weapons. It's the minds of the young people, and TikTok is the best weapon. That's what he said. So the Jewish people in charge, the billionaires that happen to be Jewish, will be buying TikTok and getting rid of any anti-Semitic content. And remember, the definition of anti-Semitic could be anything that goes against the state of Israel, the nation of Israel, you know? So I don't know if that's great. I don't know if that's free speech, but it's going to happen. So buckle up for that. It's weird because they're like, we're the Jewish people in charge are like, we're so sick of people saying that the Jews rule the world and control everything. So then they buy TikTok and then control everything. And it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It kind of proves the point. It's very interesting. What do I know? I don't know. I don't care. I don't care anymore. Um, Aliens are here. That's a big one. Let's go into this. There's supposed to be this interstellar comet the size of Manhattan heading right towards Earth, hurtling towards Earth fast. Now, the only issue is they're changing the narrative now and they're saying it might actually be a spacecraft from another world with tech on it. And it's changing course, meaning it's steering, course correcting right towards Earth. And more people are now convinced it's an alien craft coming towards us. Now, I don't know if this news story is going to do anything, but if it does, just know I predicted this also episodes ago. Project Bluebeam, look it up. The Great Unifier. It was like a plan that our government had and our intelligence had with NASA and the UN that would be like a false second coming of the Messiah or an alien invasion. And it would only be possible once technology got good enough to convince the people that this is indistinguishable from reality. Now that you have AI and drones and holograms, it's there, it's time. So would I put it past them to do this, to unify the people and to give up all their freedoms? Yeah, in exchange for security against the aliens. Fear is a powerful motivator, ladies and gentlemen. So if Project Bluebeam comes true, I wouldn't believe it. I don't know if you're going to even have a choice, but when you see the mothership come, I don't know if it's real. That's all I'm saying. And it's just in time. You know, the AI is getting better and better. I think we're about to reach a, you know, turning point where things get really crazy. And I think the only way to get everybody on the same page is kind of a threat from the outside that unifies us as humans rather than the small intersections of classification they have been making us divide ourselves with. So we're probably going to unify but lose all our rights and freedoms for protection in exchange for protection against the aliens. Or they go the rapture route, you know, which they're talking about the rapture too. And you don't know what's coming, but something's coming. That meeting with all the generals, Hegseth, pretty odd. They tried to say it was just to ream out the fatties, no more fatties. You think they would pay all that money? It was like $6 billion to get everybody in one place for this meeting just to say no more fatties? I don't think so. But it does make sense that they were getting everyone ready, everyone in the military, all the generals ready to train the troops to deal with upheaval and chaos that's going to happen in the US, particularly in the cities. Trump is sending people to Chicago. He's sending the military to Chicago, the Marines. He's going to send them to every city. Maybe if an alien ship arrives in the atmosphere, people would, go nuts. A lot of people have never thought a thought any deeper than what are we having for dinner tonight? So you got to understand a lot of people aren't like me and maybe you that think about aliens and the potential of aliens quite often. If an alien ship came in the atmosphere and those people saw it, they'd probably go nuts. So you got to have the military ready if that happens. And I think this meeting was a good excuse to get sort of a plan going for this Blue Beam project. Now, this is an opinion that I don't think anyone else has. This is just mine. I don't know if it's true. How do I know? What do I know? I'm just a cowboy in the basement. But I do think that had something to do with the meeting. And it wasn't just about no more fatties. If you believe the surface level lies they tell us, I don't know what to tell you. But if you think that meeting happened just to say no more fatties, no way. No way. They're preparing for some sort of backlash that's about to happen soon. Oddly enough, Trump was in the UN. Project Bluebeam had a lot to do with the UN. The whole world is involved in this project. They wanted you to believe the UN meeting was about a failed teleprompter and a failed escalator. That's all you and me took away from the meeting. And the layperson, the sheep at home, they go, "Oh, did you see that? His escalator broke. Serves him right." That's what they want you and me to take away from that meeting. And when that happens, when you're entertained by something goofy and funny like that, you don't really think, "Oh, well, I wonder what the meeting was really about. I wonder why Trump really did meet with the UN." You'll never know. You and me will never know because we're too focused on, "Oh, the teleprompter broke." Now, if you don't believe me, with this alien stuff and the false flag and the Project Bluebeam and all that, think about it. Trump added a new branch to the military, the first new branch added in years. What was it called? It's called the Space Force. Everybody forgets that because Trump's whole first term, while he was making these things like the Space Force in the background, no one cared. They were too worried about Trump's a racist and he's calling the news fake and he's building a wall. Those are the distractions. That's what they want you to see. And they don't want you to see the stuff going on in the background. Ingersoll Lockwood, look up that company. Cutting edge space company, makes space materials, defense tech. They're involved in intelligence. They're directly related to the Space Force. You can look that up on their website. On their website, also, it's an interesting website. They have a whole page dedicated to UFOs. They also have a library that references the Book of Enoch. But again, we spend our time on TikTok watching reels of dogs licking peanut butter off spoons. You know, like we're not looking up. We're not utilizing the internet for anything like what I just said. We're just filling our mind with mindless entertainment, with content. We are consumers of everything, including content. But yeah, that website's real. And Ingersoll Lockwood just so happens to also be the name of the author that wrote the books in the 1800s called The Adventures of Baron Trump and The Last President. That speaks about a man named Trump who lives on Fifth Avenue in a tower that divides the nation and becomes the last president. If you think this is just a coincidence, I don't know what to tell you. And they got you. You're brainwashed. You are smooth brained if you think it's just a coincidence that this is all related somehow. If you need to be told again, look up John Trump, Dr. John Trump, the electrical engineer that went through the Nikola Tesla files when he died and said that there was nothing found. Nothing credible, nothing here, nothing to see. He's the guy had private access to everything Tesla had in his private apartment or hotel room right after he died. He concluded there was nothing. Really? Interesting. I'm telling you, I said it before. I do believe Trump has some sort of time machine in his possession, or he knows something, or he has some advanced tech. I don't know. I'm more and more convinced that anybody on the world stage did not get there by accident. I'm more convinced every day nobody gets on the world stage by accident. Not even Ice Spice or Bad Bunny. It's all part of the plan. Some people are pawns, some people are bishops, some people are kings. And the game ain't over till the king falls. Remember that. Remember that. It's not adding up. None of it adds up. You know it doesn't add up. So Trump creates the Space Force, which is connected to Ingersoll Lockwood, which happens to be the name of the author that wrote the book about Trump in the past. And now aliens are coming. And there's a Project Bluebeam that deals with the false flag, fake alien invasion that the UN knew about. And now AI just happens to be here. Trump is president again. The Space Force is real. Generals are meeting up in an unprecedented meeting. And there is a giant spaceship hurtling towards Earth. And that's all just coincidence. Sure. Anyways, I gotta go watch my show, Summer House. Dancing with the Stars. Ugh. So what happens next? Even if this doesn't happen, here's what I think. I don't think this is going to go on much longer. I don't think the way life as we know it is going to go on much longer, especially with AI. I don't think lawyers are going to have jobs soon. I think when you need a public defender, you're going to be handed an iPad on a cart that speaks as a lawyer and listens to everything and defends you. I think it's going to replace almost everything, including politics. So I don't know if there's going to be another election. Trump may really be the last president. He tells you everything he's going to do. He always posts that Trump 2028 hat. He thinks he's like trolling. You might laugh. He means it. He's not going anywhere as long as he has something to say about it. So it makes you wonder, like, where are we going to go when he does declare martial law because we're at war with whether it's Israel or Ukraine or China or whatever, or the aliens are here and we can't have an election if there's an alien invasion. I have to declare martial law. I will defend you. I know how to talk to the aliens. Don't worry. We have people that know how to talk to the aliens. We're negotiating with them. It's going to take 8 more years. And then Trump is just when you see him, he's just an AI Trump that runs the country forever. It's an AI Trump that looks just like Trump giving remarks. And unless you ever saw Trump in real life, you wouldn't even know if it was fake or not. Well, there he is. He's on my TV. He must be real. That might be going on right now, you know? But where do we go? Like the left will only lead to communism again, I believe, where there's, no private property, classless society. Like they already push that now. The left already told you they're comfortable being socialist. They definitely wouldn't mind the extra step of communist, especially the young left. And then you have the right, like the example of the far right, the counterpart, fascism, which is, nationalism, glorifying war, one leader. Like that's not too far off from Trump right now. You know that, right? Like I don't like when people call him a fascist, but he's very close. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if you look up the definition, like he's very close to a fascist. And fascism strictly opposes communism, which the left is very much communistic. Now, a lot of people, they clutch their pearls when you say the word fascism, but they don't even bat an eye when you say communism, even though communism historically killed more people than fascism. I don't make the rules, look it up. So where are we going to go? Like, is it going to become fascist under Trump? Like, he is sending the military into these cities, and he's hinting the idea of never leaving office. And he does want to build a strong America back. And there are ICE agents like rappelling down from helicopters, deporting bus boys. Like, I don't know. Could an alien invasion potentially lead to fascist America? Probably. The only thing that's going to save Trump, the midterms, is if he gets rid of the income tax. And then he'll say, don't you like it? And then when he tries to do the fascist takeover, half of the country or more will be like, well, I have more money in my pocket. I kind of like it. I wouldn't mind. And this is all fine and good until the other side does it to you. If the left ever takes power and they push communism on you, then you won't like it. All you right-wing people out there that are happy, that want the fascist takeover of the MAGA movement. They want the MAGA armbands, some people. Some people want the Crusades to start. Where are we going to go? How does this all tie in? I don't know, but I had this discussion the other day with some people, and here's the ultimate truth. There's nothing to really worry about. You know why? Because when this stuff happened last century and people were talking about these ideas and these philosophies and these ideologies of fascism and communism, that's when people were intellectual and they read books. Today, most people can't even tell you what fascism means. They don't even know. They couldn't tell you what existentialism means, or they couldn't tell you what they couldn't tell you anything from Freud, or they couldn't tell you anything. They don't know anything. You bring up Kierkegaard or Nietzsche. They don't know any of this stuff. So like Karl Marx, they would say, I don't know who that is. They don't. People are not informed anymore. So I don't think there's anything to worry about. Most people talk out of their ass and they're only concerned with their own little life. And that's kind of good. But this idea of like a takeover or a shift, it's just going to happen and no one's going to care. Everybody thinks like, oh my God, everything would change. No, it wouldn't. This could turn into a fascist country. And as long as you still had fucking Doritos and the football game was on, you wouldn't really care. And that's the sad truth. I think we are, as a nation, overall, too dumb to even care. Nevertheless, stop whatever's coming. So sit back, relax, and have a crab cake. A little depressing there, but hey, what are you going to do? That's life. I don't know. This fascist communist thing, I don't know. I don't know. These the Marxists and this thinking was kicked out of a lot of places. Like, if you didn't know, Hitler wanted that Frankfurt school that was all the Marxists, all the communists, and these. There was a lot of Jewish people too at that school. He kicked them all out, and that's why they went to Russia, and then ideas spread over there. He didn't want that in Germany. You know, those were the books the Nazis were burning, along with others. But the Nazis burnt a lot of those communist books, and then that it left Germany for a bit until Hitler lost, of course. Then it came back, and a lot of those ideas went to the United States. A lot of people fled to the United States with those ideas that had those ideas and formed our colleges and institutions. And that's why a lot of our colleges and institutions are very pro-communist, pro-socialist, pro-liberalism, pro-leftist ideologies. And then that kind of educated or indoctrinated our youth for the past 40 years. And now you have a populace like Trump, and you have people not doing so hot. And all of us were tricked into going these institutions, going 100,000 in debt and having nothing. We don't have a pot to piss in our window to throw it out of. And all we ever did with our life was play beer pong. Some people are 25 years old, and the only thing they have to say that they did was they won a beer pong championship at a dorm room. They have 100,000 in debt, and they don't even use their degree for their job. And that's a lot of people. And that was me. Again, you could say I'm shitting on people. I'm not. I went to a liberal university. You know, I did it. I was an artist. So don't think it's like, oh, you have to fall into these ideas. You could think freely, but just open your eyes and see that we are at a point where ideas are clashing. And it feels like something's about to happen. There's too many factors, whether it be AI replacing everything, whether it be this populist guy making promises he can't fulfill, and then keep offering more and more fake promises to see if the base still supports. He's throwing stuff at the wall now, seeing if it sticks. How about Amelia Earhart? How about the Epstein files? How about some money from Doge? How about we get out of the wars you said we were going to get out of? How about you stop making a gold ballroom and suing the media and give me some money back? You don't got money to get rid of my student debt, but you could fund bombs in Gaza that I didn't vote for, that nobody voted for. We're about to hit a point, ladies and gentlemen. A turning point, no pun intended. That's what's going to happen. So you could either be appeased by the show and say, oh, it's a fun show. I like this sitcom. Trump's a pretty fun carnival barker. Or you could wake up and say, both sides are completely compromised. It's a puppet master with two puppets, the red and the blue. Some people like the red puppet, some people like the blue puppet, but it's really the elite versus us. That's what it is. It's the elite billionaires versus the sheep. That's it. And they want to tell you, oh, I'm on your side. You think Trump cares about the middle class? Do you really think that? Do you really think Elon Musk and all these big tech guys that got behind Trump really care about us? Honestly. Honestly. Did you ever meet a rich guy from your area? He doesn't care about you. The rich guy that lives next door doesn't care about you. You think the rich guy that lives in the White House cares about you? He did it perfect, though. He had the brand, he had the hat, he had the speeches, he had the slogans, he was entertaining, he got the free media, free press. He knew what he was doing, and he again, on paper, still better than the alternative. But now the luster is gone, and we're sitting here potentially watching them sell us the next line of bullshit that aliens are coming and you need to give up all your freedom in exchange for protection from the aliens that only we could talk to. But until then, promises made, promises kept. Here's the Amelia Earhart files. This episode is brought to you in part by Three Saints Barbershop and Jack's Pub and Eatery, located in historic downtown Jessup, Pennsylvania. Also, Tusk, Scranton, and Picardo Jewelers. As always, we'll be back next week with another episode. This should appear Saturday night, maybe Sunday morning, who knows. I hope you enjoy it. As always, like, subscribe, share, tell grandma. And again, the show's not important enough or popular enough. No one made me an offer. Nobody's trying to compromise me yet. I don't think I'm popular enough yet, but you'll know when I start changing my tune. You'll know if I was offered some money. But until then, you're getting the real deal here. You're getting the real deal here. No one is buying me yet. Nobody controls me. I say whatever I want for now. So enjoy it and tell people about it and support local. Buy local. Stay curious, my friends. Good night.